What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so this is something, an article I seen on Basketball Network, and it involves a former NBA player named Raymond Felton, who reportedly confirmed some of the rumors that we heard about Michael Jordan, even during his tenure as an owner with the Charlotte Hornets. Of course, Michael Jordan, I think, first purchased a stake with the Hornets franchise. I think it might be back in 2006 or 2007. And I think he was the majority owner of the Hornets from 2000, I think around 2010 to 2023, I believe it was. And there were reports that many of the players who were on the team at that time, especially in the earlier portion of his tenure as owner, even though these players may have been at that time 15, 20, 25 years younger than him, he would play many of these players one-on-one and beat them often, and they would get a taste of his competitive fire and the energy that he brought to these one-on-ones. And Raymond Felton said that Michael Jordan never lost a one-on-one battle, even with active NBA players at that time. In a recent interview with All-Star wingman Paul George, Felton revealed that during his time in Charlotte, MJ wasn't only an owner and executive for the team, but also a fierce competitor on the court. According to Raymond, Mike often challenged him and other players to one-on-one games during practices. But these weren't your average friendly pickup games. He played to win at all costs. He said, quote, "He was super competitive. He hated to lose. And he came to the locker room many times and told us how he felt about how we were playing. I know the one moment I'm gonna take from that man was, it was me, him, Jeff McGinnis, Gerald Wallace, and I want to say Jay Rich. But Jay Rich might not have been there. But I know it was me, Jeff McGinnis, and Gerald Wallace. We played one-on-one against MJ. When I tell you he was frying us, man, he was frying us, bro. He was talking crazy to us, too." Pressed for more details about these clashes, Felton disclosed that he and his teammates got buckets on Jordan, but ultimately the 6'6" wingman and five-time league MVP came away with wins. While his airness no longer had the same pop that he had during his early days in the league, especially when he returned to play for the Wizards in the early 2000s, he still had an incredible mastery of the basics and angles. In fact, feisty forward Bonzi Wells said that Pump Fake Jordan was just as lethal, recalling the experience of trying to guard the Bulls icon. And he did went on to defend Jordan's job that he did as an owner of the Hornets. You know, a lot of people critique his ownership and talk about how he didn't win, but they don't have the same energy for Jeanie Buss. When you look at her ownership since she took over in 2013, yeah, they have the one championship, but embedded in that time period are a bunch of mediocre and disappointing years, to the point where I think during the 10-year period in which she's been an owner, they've only won like 45% of their games. So it's been very disappointing, you know, but she don't get any smoke because, you know, she's a woman and a white woman, I should say. But yeah, Michael Jordan's fire and intensity never wavered. If anything, it's gotten worse. He's the most competitive athlete I've ever seen. And that drive to be great, that drive never to lose, that drive to be better than he was the next day is part of what made Michael Jordan Michael Jordan. And that's a large part of what made Kobe Bryant Kobe Bryant. But that's also what has held back LeBron James. He doesn't have the same passion. He tries to manufacture it. He tries to make it seem like it's there. He wants to make himself like them or present himself like that. But we know the real from the fake. And it's kind of amazing, too, when you think about it, because during this time period, Michael Jordan would have been in his, as far as an owner is concerned, those were some of the early years. He would have been in his late 40s, early 50s, maybe, very early 50s. So for him to be playing pickup games and beating professional NBA players, well, let's just tick things back here. Screw the Wizard years. Just tick them back to the late 90s. Can you imagine what he would be doing in the NBA today if he was playing as his late 90s self or the 80s, early 90s incarnation of himself? It'd be a joke. You know, Horace Grant once said that as spectacular as Michael Jordan was in the actual individual games, he said the best of Michael Jordan was actually not even seen by the most of the public. He said the best of Michael Jordan was seen in practices. Some of the things he was doing in practice were incredible. The harder the stakes was, the better he got. And that's why when you look at his career, his trajectory, he was phenomenal in the regular season. He was legendary in the playoffs. And in the NBA Finals, he became a once in a century icon, honestly. So, salute to Raymond Felton for confirming what we already knew. Tell me what you guys think.